Stacey D, and this is the Yeti. And we're just so madly in love.
So freaking in love. Isn't that what you hear all the time?
Yeah.
What do you hear about in this world all the time? You hear about love. Love, 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 love. Right?
Love, and it's applied in a lot of interesting ways.
Right? And that's kind of what we want to talk about today is our perspective on love. You know, we talk about this, a little backstory on us. We've been married 17 years, and before that we were high school sweethearts. We've got 3 amazing teenage kids and a couple of dogs. We've seen some things, done some things, been some places. And we want to talk about this idea of love, and what is love, and why, I mean, some love doesn't make it. You know what I mean? It's not what some people think it is. You know, I can remember when we were just first young and in love, and that's what people say, young and in love. We were so stupid. We were just young and in love, and you think you have the world all figured out.
Right. Yeah. Because, well, if your love matches what you see in, let's say, movies, or maybe what your friends, or maybe your relatives, or whatever, if it looks like that, then you can be like, oh yeah, well, yeah, we're in love. We got this.
Right.
But really, are you? Is it? Is it what it should be?
I mean, there's a measure that's put on love that we see all the time, and people are like, oh, I'm so freaking in love. Look at this guy, look at this chick, I'm so in love. And it's like, I met this person on Tinder, I'm so in love. I met this person at the mall, I'm so in love. You like, when people fall in love, or they say that they're in love, but what are they actually?
What are they actually? Infatuated.
Have you ever heard that word, infatuated?
I have heard the word infatuated.
What do you think that means?
I think it means that you got the old butterflies, and you just think that person is just the bee's knees.
Okay.
Right? So you're like, I would like to be around them as much as possible because I like the way they make me feel when I'm around them. And I think, oh, you don't agree? What do you think infatuation is?
Infatuation is a sense of love that comes through an act of lust.
Oh, right. Well, that would qualify, right?
Like, so those butterflies, I know what you're talking about.
The like, they're super pretty. They're super hot. I feel good when I'm with them because I have feelings of lust. I mean, because you're attracted to that person.
Yeah, man. And so that's what we see so often in this, I don't know, what you even call this modern world. We see this idea all the time of, well, it's love. They're in love and it's going to be a lasting love, but is it enough? You know, in some love, it doesn't make it. You know what I mean? I mean, when you have, 10-minute weddings over in Las Vegas, I mean, is that really love, or are they just feeding a need, right? There's some needs. Let's be real, there's some needs.
There's some needs, and I like that idea. Is it love, or are you feeling a need?
I don't know. Are you in love?
I'm in love.
Are you feeling a need?
I'm feeling the need.
Hey.
Wait.
What?
But really, what does that mean? What does that look like? What is love actually?
Well, that's a movie. Martin Freeman and a bunch of other stars. But this idea, this concept of love, how do we know it's love, and how do you know when you're actually in love and not just infatuated with a person based off of their physical features or just their sense of humor, but this idea that you can't get enough of this person versus a feeling of this real love,
Right, exactly. How do you know?
I'll tell you how we know. I believe that we don't have an ability to measure love because we don't know what love is. And I believe that love comes from the Father. And hey, oh, by the way, we love God. Born again believers, right? So, but this idea that we don't know what love is because, God is love. So without God, we don't know love, right?
Right.
So we need God to show us what love is. You hear about that all the time with gifts, how your gifts are to your kids, but how greater your gifts are from your Father in heaven. It's the same kind of thing. We don't understand a concept of love because we didn't create love, and so we just go by definition of what we see other people saying, oh, that's love, or that's love. So people try to define love, and they're defining love. The same people that are telling us all this stuff on the mainstream media are this in Hollywood, they're the same ones that are defining love. So what is love? Love is when she just rubs my six-pack.
Isn't it?
So, but that idea is like, what is love? How deep is love?
Right, and I think that's really great when you say that there's other people defining what love is for us, and then it gets confused, and it's shallow, and it's not deep, it's not deeply rooted, and it's easily washed away. As soon as that person isn't performing in a way that you see fit, isn't doing what you want them to do, isn't making you feel those infatuated butterflies anymore, things have maybe grown a little cold, whatever it is, it's easy to be like, oh, well, I just fell out of love with them. But is love something you can fall in or out of with someone?
See, I don't think so. I think to love is to love. And there's several types of love. Now, I obviously I can't list them all, but I mean, what do you see? Is it in the Greek? Philos, eros, and agape, right? So you've got a brotherly love, a sexual erotic love, and you have an unconditional love. And all these come from God. He's made these in a certain way, so you can technically love somebody in a certain way, or say make love, or be in love, or love a friend, but the love that we're talking about today is just in general, like when couples, they talk about being in love. Like if you have, say, teenagers or early 20s, or people that have just met and they're already, like, they've been dating for 6 weeks and they're saying, I love you. Well, that's because that's a trained thing. That's something they've learned. That's kind of like learning that credit cards are okay because you see that everybody's using your credit card when really credit cards are not okay. And you're still using it anyway, and you're using them incorrectly. It's only because we're exposed to that.
Exactly, that's exactly it. And because we're exposed to incorrect versions of love, and we think it's normal, again, they're just easily wiped away and washed away. Because we also see in those kinds of forms of media that it's okay to just, flip from
one person to the other.
One person to the other. Oh, that wasn't a good fit, or that wasn't a good fit, or that wasn't a good fit. But really, it's something that you need to look maybe more internally and say, right, what does love mean to me?
Because there's stories there. I mean, if you're just, it's a thing from experience, a point of experience, and being married for a long time it's kind of weird letting people into our lives because I vlog every day about crap, but this is amazing. But like, love is much deeper than that. So if you're just excited about a woman's physical physique, or you're just excited about a sexual pleasure, that stuff comes and goes. I mean, marriage, being married, being long-term, that's not what it is. And if your base, your foundation is just the pleasure that you feel, the sexual pleasure you feel, or that, that spark, that love, or whatever bullcrap the media's fed you, if that's your foundation, that's building your house on sand, right? Because we know there's physical changes. We know things happen. You know what I mean? Like what happened over time, right? So I started speed eating Ben & Jerry's. I had an anxiety issue. My physicalness wasn't exactly as appealing as you'd like, right? And that happens. But that's the thing, is like, if you're drawn to somebody, it's more than just that physical drawn. It's something deeper inside that she knows what I'm about, and she knows that shape comes and goes, and my shape does change with age. It still changes.
It's still changing.
You want to tell all them about the silver hairs you like?
No, it's my private silver hairs.
But the same thing happens, like, when you get, how many times do you see trash on YouTube when people get disgusted, or how they talk about their wife's pregnant body? Do you know what I'm saying? And like, your wife houses your kid and grows and stretches, and the hips and the pelvis, all that changes. That woman is bringing life into the world. That's beautiful. Her body changes from before baby to after baby. There's a before baby woman and an after baby woman. Bro, there's stretch marks involved. There's some real love involved because you can understand the bigger picture. Am I right?
You're right. And even past physical changes, there's also personality changes. Likes change, hobbies change,
situations change.
Stress is a big one. How does your partner deal under stress? I say partner, just to encompass any kind of relationship that you might be having with someone. But
we would say husband and wife.
Right, but also talking like boyfriend, girlfriend.
Boyfriend, girlfriend. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that person the human that you've chosen.
The human you've chosen.
Right. Like, what happens when they have a buttload of stress on them?
Buttload of stress. What happens when you go through things like car accidents?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you go through child injuries?
Yep.
What happens when you go through personal injuries, right?
Yep.
Or when your spouse, like for me, I had anxiety attacks that actually I got fired from a job for them. So there we were, mortgage, car payment, 2 kids, and a kid on the way, and I get fired.
What do you do?
There you go, Bob's your uncle. And you know, you have those situations. Or what about back in 2016 when I tore the muscle in my back and I couldn't even get out of the bed? Like for months, I couldn't even get out of the bed hardly at all without going into this hard spasm. And bro, she had to see me through that kind of stuff, you know. Or what happens? Oh, just the other way. It's like the stress that puts on her, and then how do you bring her back from the edge? You know, that philosophical edge. Like, how do you push through that? How do you grow together? You know, we were talking for years now about the idea that, like the statute of limitations, every 7 years people become someone new. So every 7 years, or I'm sorry, every 7 years, what is it? You can't be arrested for
right.
So we say that every 7 years you're literally becoming a new person. I believe that's even how long it takes for all the cells in your body to completely replenish. So if you are a completely new person, well, think about your personality as well. I mean, you become a different person. So love is going to say that I'm going to grow with that person. You know, so Stacey D and I, we've been together for a long time, you know, but she's 37 this year, and she does not act like she's 16. I could not handle sharing a space with her now at 16 because that would annoy the crap out of me. You know what I'm saying? I need a mature woman.
You're a mess, but agreed, right? We had to change and we had to grow into the mature adults that we are now. But there's been a lot of changes along the way, and because we got married young, I made the commitment, and I'm going to assume that he made the commitment as well, that we were in it for the long haul. That meant that we realized that there were going to be changes, and that we were going to be okay with those changes because we were coming together and working through anything that needed to be worked on.
Those wedding vows, bro, are no joke. When you talk about that, for better or worse, for richer, for poorer, you know what I mean? Like, that's legit. When you have money, you feel a certain way. When you don't have money, you feel a certain way. How does that affect your spouse? You know, when you are healthy, that affects one way, or when you're sick, that affects another way. And you can't foresee what life's going to bring to you. You know, whether it's jobs and family and fortunes, or you're going to be homeless somewhere, and you can't predict that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So it's really important to have firm, strong love, the unconditional kind. If you're going to promise your life with someone else, the unconditional kind.
What's that real love look like? So check this out. I've got it right here, man. 1 Corinthians 13. Now, I know a lot of you, if you're watching our channel, you probably know what we're about, and you've probably read this before. I'd say right here, man, love is patient. Love is kind and is not jealous. Love does not brag and is not arrogant. Does not act unbecomingly. It does not seek its own. Is not provoked. Does not take into account a wrong suffered. Does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth. Bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. You know, when you think about love as that, you're like, oh my gosh, why do I say I love this person? Because you may not love that person. That's just a slang that's being applied to a situation. Or like when someone says they're making love, it's like, bro, that's an eros love. That's very shallow and sexual. You know what I mean? So you're making love, but really you're just having sex. So you might say to your friend that you love that person, and that philos love can grow to that agape, that unconditional love. But I think that there's a huge scope, and that we should be real careful how we're using this word love interchangeably.
Exactly. So I think the best thing out of all this list, my personal favorite, was that love endures all things. Because there's moments where you don't feel very loving, and you don't feel like the situation is worth your time or whatever it is, and you get really frustrated. But the bottom line is that you continue to show up for that person because love endures all things.
That's true. So guys, we're Stacey and the Yeti. Thanks for stopping by again today. You know, it's the channel grows, the channel's fun, the channel's upbeat, or the channel's serious. all we know is that life is life, and life happens all the time, and we live hard and we love harder. You know, and we're in it. We're here for the long haul. You got one of those?
I do got one of those. I do.
Share that with